ASMR here, and it is time for another fact video. Now, I searched for 1,500 facts, and I searched for 2,000 facts. Neither of them showed any results. So what I'm going to do is, instead of looking harder, I'm going to take the lazy route and just give you a list of just over 100 facts. Figure you guys will be happier with a shorter list than no list at all, right? So, let's get started. If you have 3 quarters, 4 dimes, and 4 pennies, you have $1.19, and you also have the largest amount of money in coins without being able to make change for $1. The numbers 172 can be found on the back of the US $5 bill in the bushes at the base of the Lincoln Memorial. President Kennedy was the fastest random speaker in the world with up to 350 words per minute. In the average lifetime, a person will walk the equivalent of 5 times around the equator. That's pretty far. Odontophobia is the fear of teeth. The 57 on Heinz ketchup bottles represents the number of varieties of pickles the company once had. In the early days of the telephone, operators would pick up a call and use the phrase, "Well, are you there?" It wasn't until 1895 that someone suggested answering the phone with the phrase, "Number, please." The surface area of an average-sized brick is 79 centimeters squared. According to suicide statistics, Monday is the favored day for self-destruction. Do not commit suicide. Talk to somebody. Cats sleep about 16 to 18 hours per day. Man, I wish I could be a cat. The most common name in the world is Muhammad. It is believed that Shakespeare was 46 around the time that the King James Version of the Bible was written. In Psalms 46, the 46th word from the first word is shake, and the 46th word from the last word is spear. Wow, good job, people, putting that together. I'm sure that's just a shot in the dark. Karaoke means empty orchestra in Japanese. If you've ever watched the TV show How I Met Your Mother, that was featured in one of the episodes. Yep. The Eisenhower interstate system requires that 1 mile in every 5 must be straight. These straight sections are usable as airstrips in times of war or other emergencies. The first known contraceptive was crocodile dung, used by Egyptians in 2000 BC. Rhode Island is the smallest state with the longest name. The official name used on all state documents is Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. I don't know why they need to keep that around. Nobody recognizes it as Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. They just recognize it as Rhode Island. When you die, your hair still grows for a couple of months. That's pretty weird. There are 2 credit cards for every person in the United States, and I own 0 of them. Isaac Asimov is the only author to have a book in every Dewey Decimal category. That's another repeat, I'm pretty sure. The newspaper serving Frostbite Falls, Minnesota, the home of Rocky and Bullwinkle, is the Picayune Intelligence. That's a weird word. Picayune. Picayune? Not sure. It would take 11 Empire State Buildings stacked one on top of the other to measure the Gulf of Mexico at its deepest point. The first person selected as the Time magazine Man of the Year was Charles Lindbergh in 1927. I'm pretty sure a fun fact is 1 year Time magazine named every person in the world Person of the Year. It might have been in the year 2000, in the turn of the century. As a joke, one of my teachers in school told me on your resume you can always put that you were Time magazine's Person of the Year because everybody was. It's kind of a funny joke. The most money ever paid for a cow at an auction was $1.3 million. That person wasted their money. It took Leo Tolstoy 6 years to write War and Peace. Tolstoy. Leo Tolstoy. Not ski. Don't know why I read Tolstoy. The Neanderthal's brain was bigger than yours is. Their heads are also weird shaped. On the new $100 bill, the time on the clock tower of Independence Hall is 4:10. They couldn't make it 4:20, man, come on. Each of the suits on a deck of cards represents the four major pillars of the economy in the Middle Ages. Heart represents the church, spade represents the military, clubs represents agriculture, and diamonds represented the merchant class. The names of the two stone lions in front of the New York Public Library are Patience and Fortitude. They were named by then Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia. Pretty sure I said that right. The main library at Indiana University sinks over an inch every year because when it was built, engineers failed to take into account the weight of all the books that would be occupying the building. I believe that was also featured in an episode of How I Met Your Mother. Maybe they've watched the show once or twice. Yeah, that's an unfortunate problem to have. The sound of E.T. walking was made by someone squishing their hands in jelly. Lucy and Linus, who were brother and sister, had another little brother named Rerun. He sometimes played left field on Charlie Brown's baseball team when he could find it. That is confusing to me. Is it confusing to you? The pancreas produces insulin. Wow, what a fact. What a fact. 1 in 5,000 North Atlantic lobsters are born bright blue. Cool, I want to eat a blue lobster. There are 10 human body parts that are only 3 letters long. Eye, hip, arm, leg, ear, toe, jaw, rib, lip, and gum. A skunk's smell can be detected by a human a mile away. It's pretty potent and nasty. The word lethargica describes the state of not being able to remember the word you want. Too bad I won't be able to remember that word. The King of Hearts is the only king without a mustache. It's sad for that king. He must feel left out. Henry Ford produced the Model T only in black because the black paint available at the time was the fastest to dry. Mario of Super Mario Bros. Fame appeared in the 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong. His original name was Jumpman, but it was changed to Mario to honor the Nintendo of America's landlord, Mario Segale. So he wasn't originally Mario. I didn't know that. The 3 best-known Western names in China: Jesus Christ, Richard Nixon, and Elvis Presley. Every year, about 98% of the atoms in your body are replaced. Elephants are the only mammals that can't jump. The international telephone dialing code for Antarctica is 672. World Tourist Day is observed on September 27th. Women are 37% more likely to go to a psychiatrist than men are. Women, am I right? The human heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood 30 feet. Diet Coke was only invented in 1982. And it'll kill you eventually, but I'm sure regular Coke will too. There are more than 1,700 references to gems and precious stones in the King James translation of the Bible. When snakes are born with two heads, they fight each other for food. I didn't know snakes were born with two heads sometimes. I want to see that. American car horns beep in the tone of F. Turning a clock's hands counterclockwise while setting it is not necessarily harmful. It is only damaging when the timepiece contains a chiming mechanism. There are twice as many kangaroos in Australia as there are people. The kangaroo population is estimated at about 40 million. Yeah, I've heard kangaroos are the Australian version of cows in America. But I've never been to Australia, so I wouldn't know. If there's any Australians watching, you can vouch for that. Police dogs are trained to react to commands in a foreign language, commonly German, but more recently Hungarian. The Australian $5 bill to $100 bill notes are made of plastic. I did not know that. Saint Stephen is the patron saint of bricklayers. Good for you, Saint Stephen. The average person makes about 1,140 telephone calls each year. Stressed is desserts, spelled backwards. If you had enough water to fill 1 million goldfish bowls, you could fill an entire stadium. That doesn't specify what stadium. Is it the stadium that the Dallas Cowboys play in? The giant one? Superdome, whatever it's called? Or is it like a tiny stadium? Doesn't specify. Mary Stuart became Queen of Scotland when she was only 6 days old. That's weird. Charlie Brown's father was a barber. Flying from London to New York by Concorde, due to the time zones crossed, you can arrive 2 hours before you leave. That sounds awesome. Dentists have recommended that a toothbrush be kept at least 6 feet away from a toilet to avoid airborne particles resulting from the flush. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching TV. So sleep more, sleep more. A lion's roar can be heard from 5 miles away. Wow, that'd be scary. Anywhere you are in Africa, you just hear lions all the time. That'd be crazy. The citrus soda 7-Up was created in 1929, excuse me. 7 was selected because the original containers were 7 ounces. Up indicated the direction of the bubbles. What a really basic way to create your name. Canadian researchers have found that Einstein's brain was 15% wider than normal. The average person spends about 2 years on the phone in a lifetime. The first product to have a barcode was Wrigley's gum. The largest number of children born to one woman is recorded at 69. From 1725 to 1765, a Russian peasant woman gave birth to 16 sets of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. That is insane. How does she live? Beatrix Potter created the first of her legendary Peter Rabbit children's stories in 1902. In ancient Rome, it was considered a sign of leadership to be born with a crooked nose. The word nerd was first coined by Dr. Seuss in If I Ran the Zoo. That's cool. A 41-gun salute is the traditional salute to the royal birth in Great Britain. The bagpipe was originally made from the whole skin of a dead sheep. The roar that we hear when we place a seashell next to our ear is not the ocean, but rather the sound of blood surging through the veins in the ear. Any cup-shaped object placed over the ear produces the same effect. Did not know that. It's pretty cool. Revolvers cannot be silenced because of all the noisy gases which escape the cylinder gap at the rear of the barrel. I understand. Liberace Museum has a mirror-plated Rolls-Royce jeweled encrusted capes and the largest rhinestone in the world, weighing 59 pounds and almost a foot in diameter. A car that shifts manually gets 2 miles per gallon of gas, more than a car with an automatic shift. Cats hear ultrasound. That's crazy. Dueling is legal in Paraguay as long as both parties are registered blood donors. The highest point in Pennsylvania is lower than the lowest point in Colorado. That's cool. The United States has never lost a war in which mules were used. It's very, very specific. Children grow faster in the springtime. On average, there are 178 sesame seeds on each McDonald's Big Mac bun. Paul Revere rode on a horse that belonged to Deacon Larkin. I have no idea who Deacon Larkin is. The Baby Ruth candy bar was actually named after Grover Cleveland's baby daughter, Ruth. Minus 40 degrees Celsius is exactly the same as minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, that's cool. Clans of long ago wanted to get rid of unwanted people without killing them, so they used to burn their houses down, hence the expression, to get fired. That's crazy. Just burn their houses down if they want to fire somebody. Nobody knows who built the Taj Mahal. The names of the architects, masons, and designers that have come down to us have all proved to be latter-day inventions, and there's no evidence to indicate who the real creators were. I may have read that wrong, that confused me. Every human spent about half an hour as a single cell. 7.5 million toothpicks can be created to form a cord of wood. I said that wrong. 7.5 million toothpicks can be created from a cord of wood. There we go. The plastic things on the end of shoelaces are called aglets. The earliest recorded case of a man giving up smoking was on April 5th, 1679, when Johann Katsu, sheriff of Turku, Finland, wrote in his diary, "I quit smoking tobacco." He died 1 month later. Goodbye came from God bye, which came from God be with you. That's weird. I don't know how they connect, but this fact is weird. February is Black History Month. That's the whole fact. I don't understand. Jane Barbie was the woman who did the voice recordings for the Bell system. The first drive-in service station in the United States was opened by Gulf Oil Company on December 1st, 1913, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The elephant is the only animal with 4 knees. So, I thought, I guess it's different with like dogs and cats and stuff, and all other 4-legged animals. Maybe it's because their legs bend the reverse of ours, so it's not technically a knee. I don't know. Kansas state law requires pedestrians crossing the highways at night to wear taillights. Well, good for you, Kansas. And that was the last fact. So let me know if you enjoyed. Let me know if you want more. Leave a comment about a specific fact. Thank you for watching, and have a great day or night.